Hey guys, today we're going to be going over a quick video on how to utilize your TI-30XS. This is the calculator that we've requested that you go ahead and purchase so that you have one at home. We do have our yellow versions of them here at school that you'll be able to utilize, but if you want to do any of your homework at home, you're going to need to make sure you've got this calculator. So just a couple of quick things that are very much the same as any other kind of calculator. You have your on button, you've got your basic numbers, and your four functions. But what we're going to focus on today is those extra features that make the TI-30XS special. So one of the features that we're going to focus on, since we're getting into our rationals unit in just a couple of days, is the negative sign, not to be confused with your subtraction sign. If you were to type your subtraction sign thinking it was a negative, if you hit it, you'll notice it's going to say answer, ANS, and then it shows the sign. So that's saying, oh, hey, you wanted to take whatever the last answer was and subtract it by such number. That's not what you're wanting to do. If you're wanting to type in -3, you have to use the negative button. So if we type -3, then we get -3, which is different than the subtraction of 3. Okay, so let's say that we have -3 plus 2. I would just hit plus 2. I would make sure that whatever is up here is exactly what is the same thing on my paper before I hit enter. That's the nice thing also about these calculators, is you can see everything that you have typed out. Okay, so once I type it out and I hit enter, I get my value of -1. So that's this basic way of being able to utilize your negative numbers in your operations. If we needed to go into a fraction, so the fraction button is located right here. You'll see that it says N over D, which represents numerator over denominator. If I needed to type in the fraction 1 over 4, I would hit my fraction button, and you'll notice that there's a cursor that's flashing on the top. I would type in a 1, and it's still staying on the top because it needs to be moved to the bottom by using these special arrows here. If you use these arrows, you can hit the down arrow and it'll bring your cursor down to the bottom. Your flashing box is now in the denominator. I would then hit a 4, and again notice that I still have a flashing cursor underneath the 1. It's inside my denominator. So if I wanted to do 1/4 times 2, and I said, oh, I'm going to do 1/4 times 2, notice that it says times 2 and it's still under the denominator. That's not what you want. In order to be able to do that, so I'm going to go ahead and delete. See this delete button? This lets me go ahead and go backwards, showing that I've made a mistake. So I want to get out of the fraction. In order to get out of the fraction, I'm going to, again, go back to these arrows. I'm going to use my arrow to move my way out of the fraction, and now I can go ahead and hit times 2. So 1/4 times 2 is going to give me my 1/2, and I'm done with that. Now let's say I needed to go ahead and add some fractions together. So let's say I needed to add, we'll say 7 over 8. So I have my fraction button. I typed in 7. I'm going to hit my down button, type in 8, and I'm going to get out of it. And I want to add 11/12 to it. So again, I need to hit my plus sign, hit my fraction, 11, down arrow, 12, and then my right arrow to get out of it. I check my problem, 7/8 plus 11/12, and hit enter. And you'll notice it's going to give me what we call the improper fraction. So it's 43 over 24. Well, if you need to have an answer that's in mixed number form, then you're going to have to convert this. But the calculator will convert it for you. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so you can see. You'll notice that a lot of these keys have something in green right above it. So if we take a look, right above the fraction button, it looks like another kind of symbol for a fraction, but it has a U in front of it. That's our mixed number. So if I need to convert a fraction to a mixed number, I need to look and see if I can find which button will convert fractions to mixed. That's this right here. See, it's a fraction, and it has those double arrows, which means it's going to convert, and then it has a mixed number. But in order to do that, because it's in green, I need to hit that second button first. So if I hit my second button, and then I hit this button here with the fraction to mixed number, you'll notice if you look up here, there was my original fraction, and it's even showing me, hey, you've hit this button, fraction to mixed number. So that way you can go, oh, I didn't want to do that, or oh, yes, I do want to do that. So that's what we're wanting to do. We wanted to convert this fraction by using our fraction to mixed number button. I would then hit enter, and it'll convert it for me. 1 and 19 over 24. Okay? The same thing, or easier actually, in order to convert a decimal to a fraction or a fraction to a decimal, let's say that we have 0.75, and I needed to convert that into a fraction. I can come down to here. Remember I told you that those double arrows meant that it was going to convert it? If I hit this button, it'll automatically convert it for me once I hit the enter. So 0.75, hit my double arrows, it converts it into a fraction of 3/4. You can also do that in reverse. Let's say that we had 15, fraction of 15 over 25. I'm going to hit my conversion button and enter, and it's going to give me 0.6. Now notice 15 over 25, you guys should remember from 6th grade, 15 over 25 is not simplified. So let's say I wanted to go ahead and simplify 15 over 25. I could type in 15 over 25, and if I hit enter, it's going to simplify it for me, 3/5, which is also the same thing if I convert it, hit my conversion button, to 0.6. So those are the main tools that we utilize when we're dealing with fractions and decimals. The last little tool that I'm going to show you is utilizing your exponent button. Right here is an exponent of 2, meaning that we wanted to go ahead and multiply a single number by itself 2 times. So we already know that 5 times 5 is going to give us 25. Another way of saying 5 times 5 is to do 5 and then hit it to the second power. If I hit this button that has an x and a exponent of 2, it's going to go ahead and convert that 5 into 5 to the second power. When I hit enter, it's going to give me 25. Now let's say that your exponent was not a power of 2. Let's say your exponent was a power of 4. Well, you could go ahead and do 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, but we know that sometimes that mistake happens when you are multiplying the same number a lot. You might forget to do one or accidentally do an extra. Instead of doing this longhand, you could hit 5, and then this arrow, see we have this exponent of 2, right above it, the button above it, that arrow button, it's going to let you change your cursor into a small box for your exponent. So you could then type a 4. Then remember, just like the fractions, we use these to get out of it. 5 to the 4th power, it's going to give us 625. Okay, I know this is a lot of information that has been thrown at you, but we're going to go ahead and practice a few problems right now. So what I want you guys to do, and I'm going to say the problem a couple of times, and you're going to answer them, then I'll type them into the calculator. You'll check to see if you did it correctly. I want you to go ahead and type in negative 1.5 divided by 3 over 7. Negative 1.5 divided by 3 over 7. So the way that we type that in, we have to hit our negative sign first. Let me clear everything first. We have to hit our negative sign, then we type 1.5. Division, we're going to divide, we have to hit our divided by sign. Then I have to do a fraction, 3 over 7. So I hit my fraction bar, 3 over 7, get out of the fraction, and hit enter. That gives me negative 3.5. Now let's say I want to go ahead and put that into a fraction form. The button that you would press would be what? Right here, your conversion button. So all I have to do is hit that, and I get my fraction, negative 7 over 2. Let's say I wanted to convert negative 7 over 2 into an improper, or into a mixed number. Convert that improper fraction into a mixed number. What would I do? I would hit my second button, the green second button, and then remember the fraction, conversion, mixed number. Hit that, it will show up. Here's your fraction. You're doing the fraction to mixed number conversion. Hit enter, and there is your mixed number. Let's go ahead and do one more example. It's going to be a long one. I want you to take 6 to the third power plus 1/2 minus negative 8. 6 to the third power plus 1/2 minus negative 8. The first thing that you would do is you type in your 6. Then you would type in your exponent. Now remember, if the exponent is a 2, then all we have to do is press this button. But because the exponent is not a 2, we have to come up here to press the exponent button and then press a 3 to show that we want it to the third power. Don't forget to use your arrows to get out of the box. Then we're going to hit plus 1/2, so I need to do a fraction. 1 over 2. Move my cursor. Then we're going to hit a subtraction sign, minus, and now we need to do a negative 8. Remember that the minus sign is not the same thing as your negative sign. Your negative sign is right down here. Negative 8. Check to make sure that everything matches your problem and hit enter. Okay, so we get 449 over 2. If we wanted to convert this into a mixed number, you would hit second, and then the button that is fraction to mixed number, it's in green. Check to see that you've got it written correctly. Your fraction, 449 over 2, then the fraction to mixed number, hit enter. You get 224 1/2. Let's say that we wanted to do that as a decimal. All we would have to do is come down here and hit our conversion arrows. 224.5. That's the end of the video. You guys can go ahead and get started into your quizzes.